Breaking news here on Dallas Mavericks today. The Mavericks have completed a 3-team sign-in trade to acquire Grant Williams from the Boston Celtics. Welcome into the show. My name is Harrison Graham from Chat Sports. Here is the trade details as we bring in Jeff Cooperstein. We'll be breaking this down and providing full analysis here and kind of explain what that means for the cap, Matisse Thybulle, etc. But let's talk about the trade first. Grant Williams comes to Dallas and signs a 4-year, $54-ish million contract, seeing 53 and 54, somewhere in that range. Reggie Bullock to the Spurs, a 2030 first-round pick swap as well. And then the Celtics get 3 second-round picks in the deal also. So a lot of minor moving parts for Grant Williams to land in Dallas. Coop and I will give our initial reactions in a moment. But we also have a Celtics channel here at Chat Sports, and they're breaking down the news on that channel. We're breaking it down on this channel. So, hey, subscriber battle. Most new subs, I'll tell you what, if we beat Celtics today in new subscribers, I will do 3 shots of fireball on a video tomorrow. So hit that sub button. We're getting you this news within minutes of it coming out. 3 shots of fireball tomorrow if we get more new subscribers than Celtics today from this video, so subscribe right now. All right, Coop, initial reactions to the deal.
I'm excited, man. Grant Williams was their top target throughout 2023 NBA free agency, and just for the Mavericks to land their top target, I think is a big step in the right direction considering what's happened with this franchise over the past decade or so. So I'm really excited, and they really didn't have to give up much. Losing Reggie Bullock, that's a small price to pay for Grant Williams. Bullock was pretty good in his 2 years with the Mavs, but you don't have to give up a first-round pick. You're just swapping picks in 2030. That guy's like 11 or 12 years old right now, so I can't be worried about that. And I think you get Williams on a pretty affordable contract as well, so I'm pretty happy with this deal.
Around $13 million per year for Grant Williams. And look, you look at it this way, right? Would you rather have 32-year-old Reggie Bullock on a 1-year, $10.6 million deal, or Grant Williams, who's in his mid-20s, for the next 4 years? I think everybody would rather have Grant Williams in that scenario, who over the last 3 seasons, Coop, has shot around 40% from 3. The last 2 seasons has been a regular bench contributor for Boston. And, I think when you project what his role will be moving forward, I definitely think it will be an increased role for him, probably as a starter playing that stretch 4 position for the Dallas Mavericks. We'll look at the roster court here in a little bit, but bigger role for him. He gets a nice little payday and gives you defensive versatility and intensity, and someone who's not going to back down either. I mean, we saw him mixing it up with Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. Now, you could question whether or not that's the right guy to mix it up with.
Not sure that was the smartest decision in the world.
But he's not afraid to mix it up, and I think all good teams have a guy or two like that.
Yeah, you need dogs in the clubhouse, man, and that's what the Mavs got here in Grant Williams. He's a guy who's just not going to back down from anybody. He's a guy who stays healthy for the most part as well, over 70 games played the last 3 years. So he's someone that the Mavs were kind of targeting from the get-go, a guy that can both shoot the 3 and defend wings as well. This is a great day for the Mavs.
So grade the trade, A, B, C, D, or F. To me, Coop, it's really just grading the acquisition because, again, you didn't give up that much.
Yeah.
Sure, you lost Reggie Bullock, but I don't think he was a guy you were going to extend beyond this year anyway. Pick swap, who cares? It's 7 years from now. Got to give it an A. I think it's an affordable contract, too. And I think a key note in all of this, Coop, is you keep your full mid-level exception. I think that is a key component because the contract he's getting is within the 120% of what Reggie Bullock's contract was. So the Mavericks get to keep their full mid-level exception per Mark Stein. Now, interesting note from Bobby Marks, the Mavericks are roughly around $9 million below the first apron in the luxury tax. So and you can't go beyond that with the mid-level exception.
Correct.
So I think that leaves Dallas around $9 million per year to offer Matisse Thybulle, who Stein also reports the Mavs are still heavily interested in. They can't officially offer that, and that officially can't be signed until noon Eastern tomorrow, which we discussed earlier today. We'll get to that part of it in a second, but I did want to mention the mid-level exception is still there for Dallas. Now, Coop, I think based on what Dallas has and wanting to probably keep Maxi Kleber on the bench, I think this would probably be your starting 5 if you played a game tomorrow. I think there's still some moving parts that could happen, but not bad at all.
I still think Tim Hardaway Jr. is on the trading block. I think the Mavs would love to upgrade at the center position in a trade involving Tim Hardaway and other pieces, so I'm not sure how that quite looks. I also wonder if they end up landing Matisse Thybulle, if he ends up being in the starting lineup. Now, I think it becomes more feasible that Portland ends up matching that restricted free agent offer sheet, but we can talk about that for another day. As far as this lineup goes, I think this is a pretty formidable lineup here in the West.
Yeah, and the depth is still there. Let's just say you don't trade Hardaway. Well, Jaden Hardy and Tim Hardaway is your bench backcourt duo. That's pretty solid. Maxi Kleber as your big coming off the bench as well. You've got Derek Lively, who you drafted to play center. So 9-man rotation right there, maybe 10 depending on if another guy or two emerges off that bench unit. But I think you're sitting pretty good. But I think what's so significant about this sign and trade, again, is you still have the full mid-level, and you still have your assets that had been rumored to be available in a trade for a center.
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway, your 2027 first-round pick. JaVale is salary filler potentially.
Rashawn Holmes.
And if you do want to trade a Jaden Hardy, I'm not saying I want to, he's still available. Like, he's still someone you can move. So Nico Harrison has done a really good job, Coop, of upgrading talent without giving up guys just yet to do so. I mean, the biggest piece you've lost is Reggie Bullock, who is on an expiring contract. Good role player, a guy who helped you get to the Western Conference Finals. I think we should give him a shout-out for that. Him and Dorian Finney-Smith playing almost 40 minutes
No doubt. Those guys were dogs during that playoff run.
But that was then, this is now. That's the point, right? Like, Grant Williams is a young, up-and-coming player. Bullock's, on the back nine of his career. You got to appreciate what they've done while still maintaining that flexibility.
Yeah, credit to Nico Harrison. I think he's done a great job this offseason. It started with the draft where they ended up with Derek Lively and then getting that trade done for Omax Prosper and for Rashawn Holmes. So I think he's done a great job so far. People were a little impatient there in the first few days of free agency when all they did was sign Seth Curry and bring back Dwight Powell. I think this adds another dynamic to the Mavs with Grant Williams, and we'll see what happens with Matisse Thybulle. Like we said, that's still very much on the table. It sounds like the Mavs are offering him, right around $9 million is what we're going to assume with the tax apron rules here. So we'll see what happens with that. But this team is better than it was last year, I can tell you that.
3 for 27, 4 for 36. I'll throw out one more scenario with the Thybulle situation. What if they just cut JaVale, stretch wave him?
You could stretch wave JaVale as well, yeah, to create some room.
That could get your full mid-level back.
It could, yeah. So, I think because it would be somewhere around $2.5 million you would end up saving, and that
gets you almost to the full 12.4. So just an option. I don't know if they'll do that because you have to do it probably by noon tomorrow if you want to go that route, unless you can find a trade by then. But we'll see. Again, flexibility is the name of the game, and that's what Nico and this front office has been able to do. Now, rate Grant Williams as a player 2K style, scale of 1 to 100. I'd say he's like a solid 79, 81 Coop. He's a really solid role player.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's what he brings to the table.
I think that's right where he is. He's not someone that you're going to rely on to go out and straight up win a game, but good thing is the Mavericks have two of those guys, in Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Grant Williams really a connector, a glue guy that's going to be able to do the dirty things on the court, and he's a guy that Jason Kidd's going to rely on to play heavy minutes. I'd be surprised if Grant Williams didn't play, damn near 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, and it's fun to think about if you somehow get Thybulle too, because you think about replacing defenders you lost, right? Like you lost Dorian Finney-Smith. Obviously, that is one element of this. I mean, Bullock was one of your better perimeter defenders, so getting Thybulle helps replace him and then some, because he's obviously a better defender than Reggie Bullock. But if you could somehow get Thybulle, who Jake Fisher says will sign, or reportedly that Thybulle could sign for slightly less than the MLE, obviously.
That checks out.
Yeah, $9 million, that's a couple million less than what the Mavs can offer. Stein saying they're still heavily interested in offering that offer sheet. Now, there's probably a good chance Portland matches that. If it's just $9 million per year.
I'd put it over 50% Portland matches.
Yeah, I would still sign them to it, though. Make Portland make a decision, especially with it only being they'd have until midnight the next day. Just put the ball in Portland's court. If they match like you expect,
put some pressure on them.
No big deal. You pivot. Maybe a guy like Kelly Oubre's market dries up a little bit as he remains available. Maybe you kind of maybe you put Seth Curry into that mid-level, sign another mid-tier guy in there, and fill it that way. Keep the biannual for next year. I mean, there's different options you can go to, and I think that's what I like about what the Mavs have been able to do this offseason, Coop, is I feel like in the past they've tried so hard to get that big fish guy. Obviously, the Mavs got Kyrie back, but it was their own guy. But then, after that, it's just well, shit, what do we do now?
What do we do next? Yeah, exactly.
That has not – you feel like this has been an organized and disciplined effort from this front office, which is very refreshing because we have not seen that a lot over the years covering and watching this team.
No question about it. I think they've come into this offseason with a plan, and they've attacked it pretty much to a T. They got a center and a wing in the draft. They get Seth Curry, they get Kyrie Irving back, and they get another wing here in Grant Williams. If you finish that off with Thibault, that's great. I'd still like to add another center in addition to Thibault. And look, that's still on the table with, like you said, they still have options to explore that. So we'll see what happens, but I love what they've done so far. I don't think they're done.
Yeah, so let us know as we sign off here, what will the Mavericks do next? If you had to guess, drop it down in the comments. I think the likely thing is they'll sign Thibault to an offer sheet and then they'll wait for Portland.
Yep.
But kind of feels like that's the order of operations as we move forward. But either way, pretty pleased with how things have checked out here. We'll see what shakes out the rest of the night. And again, tomorrow, that window, 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 Eastern, for the restricted offer sheets to officially be signed. So be on the lookout. We'll have a video tomorrow for you guys here on the channel, and we'll continue to react to the latest Mavericks news and rumors. Coop, any parting words?
Grant Williams, baby, let's go.
Grant Williams.
What number will he wear? He won't wear 12. Derek Harper.
True. Grant Williams, you are a Dallas Maverick.